So I saw this movie in theaters over the weekend, and I have to say it was pretty good. I give this about an 8. That's what I feel it deserves. And I'm looking at the reviews on this movie, and I haven't even gotten to like the parts where people are commenting on Google. But just looking at the numbers I see from like Rotten Tomatoes, especially, and Internet Movie Database, and even Metacritic, these numbers are way, way higher than I thought they would be for a movie like this. I mean, some of these ratings, these numbers are higher than a lot of the ratings I see for other horror movies that I talk about. So we know that Metacritic and Rotten Tomatoes are generally rough. And for movies that I feel deserve somewhere between a 70 or 80%, they would usually give it about a 50 or 60, maybe close to 70 if they're being nice. And so Metacritic gave this movie a 64%. Now, some of you might be thinking like, hey, that's kind of low, but no, that's much higher than I thought because Metacritic is tough. So I'm surprised about that. Internet Movie Database gave it a 71%. Rotten Tomatoes and Fandango both gave it 86% each. And Google users gave it 82 to 87%. Way higher than I thought they would be. Way higher. This movie was also directed by Matt Bettinelli and Tyler Gillette, or as they're called, Radio Silence, the duo. And they did the 5th and 6th Scream movies. And it was distributed by Universal Pictures. So I'm guessing this movie is going to go on either Max or Peacock whenever it gets released. So the movie came out April 19th. So May, June, July. I give it till the end of June, or I give it till July, mid or late July, that this movie will be released on streaming. So the budget on the movie was $28 million. And keep in mind, this movie hasn't even been out for 2 weeks. And the box office is $28 million. So right now they're at a break even, but give it some time. I know it's going to go up. With those type of ratings right there that I see, and plus those numbers could change at any time. More and more people will come in after they watch the movie. And my guess would be at the end of its theatrical run, it'll probably reach about... See, most movies like that probably, like if they budget 28 million, I don't think that they're going to reach 100 million. Now, they could go past that. I could be wrong. I'm guessing they might get close to 100. So maybe 80 to 90 million. And by the way, I might be lowballing that. Maybe I could be wrong. Maybe they would reach around 100 million. But right now, the budget, which is what it costs to make the movie and to market it and all that stuff, is 28 million. And as it sits right now, the box office is at 28 million. So right now they broke even. So they didn't gain any, nor did they lose any, but they will gain more soon. And so here's what it's about. And then I'll go to Common Sense Media and see how they break it down. By the way, Common Sense Media gave it a 60%. Okay, so Common Sense Media gave it a rating that was lower than Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic. That's crazy. Common Sense Media usually isn't as tough, but they can be sometimes. So here's what it's about. A group of would-be criminals kidnaps the 12-year-old daughter of a powerful underworld figure. Holding her for ransom in an isolated mansion, their plan starts to unravel when they discover their young captive is actually a bloodthirsty vampire. And believe me when I tell you, I think that it was pretty exciting. I think it was thrilling. It was dramatic. Some parts of it were funny. And it's definitely, I'd say that it's a movie that I could watch again. I don't know if I'll see it again in theaters, but definitely when it comes out. And again, it'll most likely be on Peacock or Max. Just my guess. I could be wrong. It might go to Paramount or wherever else. So are there any positive messages in the film? This is Common Sense Media. So one message in here is, just because someone has acted badly in the past doesn't mean they'll continue to do so. So it's not necessary to punish all past transgressions. Appreciate and celebrate people's efforts to improve themselves. Forgiveness is important. Positive role models. Joey has learned from her past mistakes and is attempting to do the right thing. She's brave and cunning and continues in the fight when the chips are down. Despite the fact that she's participating in a kidnapping, she puts her skills to good use and hopes to earn the right to return to her family. Violence and scariness. 5 out of 5. Yes, this was very gory. Yes, this was very bloody. Extreme blood and gore. Severed head. Headless corpse. Characters explode, spewing blood and gore everywhere. Character falls into a swimming pool with partial dead bodies, gore, muck, buzzing flies, etc., etc. Somebody's violently thrown around, bashed against walls, windows, choked, stabbed. The person's face is partially chewed off. He gurgles and collapses, all that stuff. So a lot of stuff you see in your typical slashers and things like that. There's all that. It says right here. All right, now that already covers it right there. So far, 6 people commented on it. 4 parents, 2 kids. There's no way in hell I'd let a kid see a movie like that. And for as much as I love horror films, again, I personally just, and again, maybe this is because the way I was raised, I don't see, depending on the age, I don't see how parents would let kids just watch certain things, especially on that level. So, what's the story? In Abigail, a team of criminals, codenamed Joey, Frank, Sammy, Peter, Rickles, and Dean, are hired for a kidnapping. Their target is Abigail, the young ballet-loving daughter of a rich and powerful man. The team members pull off their assignment easily and take their target to a remote house where they're met by Lambert. He tells them to keep an eye on Abigail, to wait for 24 hours, and to not disclose any personal information to one another. They're left with food and a fully stocked bar, and they begin to pass the night. But there's something they don't know about Abigail. Yeah, there is something they don't know about. Now, is it any good? Their review is 60%. Parents say 60%. Kids say 80%. Wow. Using a simple setup with a few clever twists, this gory, slick vampire movie layers in horror and humor in a most appealing manner, moving with ease and confidence almost the entire way. With Abigail, co-directors Matt Bettinelli and Tyler Gillette, collectively known as Radio Silence, add another winner to their distinctive filmography. It recalls elements of their earlier movies, Ready or Not, which I haven't seen that yet. I still got to get to that, which was set in a large, opulent mansion, and Scream 6, which had a bloody showdown in a large, beautiful theater. Best horror film of 2023. I still stand by that. But this one adds in supernatural elements and a gleeful excess of gore. The filmmakers establish a tone that incorporates humor without distracting from the true horror of the situation. It doesn't undercut or betray anything. The elements are melded together gracefully. There's time to build characters, or at least enough that we know how we feel about them. And everything is clear and fluid. There's never any junky camera work or cheap shortcuts. It's entertaining throughout, except for a few small quibbles. In the final act, there's an overcooked element, best not revealed, that detracts from the quality of the story. And then there's Abigail herself, who's at least a couple centuries old, spending all that time in the body of a small girl. Movies like Near Dark and Interview with the Vampire, I haven't seen either one of those, have also introduced characters who suffer gravely from a curse like that, being an experienced person in an inexperienced body. But Abigail never addresses this concept. Still, there's enough here to make this nail and neck biter well worth recommending. Yeah, neck biting. Yeah, of course. Is the movie scary? What's the appeal of horror movies? Why do people sometimes like to be scared? So they ask that question with every single horror movie they do in these reviews. And again, I think it just adds to the factor of it helps keep the attention, depending on who you ask. Because some people might get scared and they just turn the channel. But to a lot of others, they look and it's an unpredictability factor. It's a questionable factor. It's a mystery. What's going to happen next? How's this going to end? Is everybody going to die? Is everybody going to survive? Will half survive and half die? A lot of different horror films kind of vary on that. So, and props to the cast. And where's it at? I just had it. Here we go. Cast members. Melissa Barrera as Joey. Alisha Weir or Weir? I want to say Weir or Ware as Abigail. Angus Cloud as Dean. Kathryn Newton as Sammy. Kevin Durand as Peter. Dan Stevens as actor. Giancarlo Esposito as Lambert. And then you have Matthew Good. I don't see his character's name there. I think I saw him in the movie. I can't remember his character's name. I don't know if he was minor or major. William Catlett as Rickles. So the movie's still in theaters. There's still plenty of time. And if you're going to see it in theaters, see it anywhere between now and I'd say the end of May, because these movies like that are usually in theaters for a month and a half, maybe 2 months tops. I think Scream 6 was in theaters for just over a month. So check it in theaters. I think it's a good theatrical experience. And or it's your choice. You can wait till it comes on the streaming or whatever. But I think it was a good theatrical experience, and I'm glad I went to go see it. So I definitely have more movies to talk about and more movies to cover, both older and newer. So like and subscribe. Give me your comments on the movie if you've seen it. And stay tuned.